Alright, welcome back to another video from the Shipyard. Alright, working on patterning the new covering board.
Huh? Oh.
I'm talking to my camera!
Carry on.
Alright, we're patterning the new covering board. Over here on the starboard side. It is finally time to plug up the hole that has been made in the side of the ship. As with everything, the replacement cover board starts with a pattern. Pattern piece. Yeah. Yeah. So this little pieces here serve as an indicator for the width of the coverboard. Like everything else on the ship, it will be curved and not straight. It is also important to clean up where the coverboard is going to be going. 5200, which is a semi-permanent marine sealant, was used originally to fix it in, and that stuff is really difficult to remove, which is why we don't normally use it.
5200 is just the gift that keeps on giving.
Yep. Here we're just using a grinder to grind off any of the ends of screws or nails that might be sticking out. And it's over to the wood pile to find an appropriate piece of wood to start crafting this coverboard from. As always seems to be the case, the best piece of wood, the wood you want the most, is on the bottom of the stack. How do you move around giant stacks of wood here in the wood shop? With an overhead gantry crane, of course. Hehehe. this piece of wood looks like it's going to be the treat, which is good because we just uncovered it underneath all of the other pieces. So, time to move this into the shop and get to work. First things first, of course, is to trace out the pattern.
Grab the end of that and throw it up on the floor.
Nailing a flexible batten in place along the pattern is a handy way to make perfect curved lines.
Nice.
Like most things on the ship, these edges are not cut at a 90-degree angle, so it's important to check the angle of the bevel on them and get it just perfect. one final little touch for this piece is to round off the edge with the router. And then it's out to the ship to make sure that the gap that the coverboard is going to go in is just right and all nice and clean. There's a couple other things to do to it before it's ready for the coverboard.
But just from the frame heads that are at the correct height, like this one's low. So I'll probably leave it alone.
This stuff here is dolphinite, which is a bedding compound. It's kind of gooey and flexible. And the old stuff needs to be removed with the heat gun and a scraper.
Yep, do that. Funnel all these upward facing bolt holes, and then take a deep breath and slide that thing in here. Yeah, could you do me a favor and black that one in there?
Another nice thing to do is to fill in all of the old bolt holes with some wood nails. Don't judge my hammering skills here. It is surprisingly difficult to hammer and film something at the same time. I have only 2 hands.
That sounds like a hit bottom.
Yep.
Thanks.
Bit of an awkward angle.
Just a little bit, yeah.
And then finally, the new coverboard comes out to the ship, and it is time for a test fit. Lurch pieces like this often take several tries to get just perfect before they can have a final installation. So a couple of test fits are going to need to be done for this new coverboard. One of the issues discovered is that the cabin has sagged a little bit. So gonna shore it up and try to lift it up a little higher with this jack screw. Get a little bigger gap for the coverboard to slide into. A very tight fit is good, so some creative use of clamps is going to help force it into place. So it's come back out for a little more shaping. And now we're going to try lubricating it a little bit with some boat sauce, which is the mixture of turpentine, pine tar, and linseed oil. The coverboard is hanging up a little bit in the gap between the tops of the frames and the sills at either end.
Back when he was around, you were hanging out with him? Alright.
Are you gonna go back and forth? You know what that is?
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe instead of boat sauce, you should have just used lube.
I've thought about it.
And in the end, one of the last things to do is to just run a very, very thin-bladed saw between the two pieces. Indeed.
Get exciting.
Just a tiny bit more.
Oh my god, it's starship. What's wrong with the old guys with the crosscut saws? They
It's
had
true.
a bottle of oil, so
Yeah. Let's probably keep their saws from getting caught in the kerf.
you know. Also, the Port Townsend bus driver, they're pretty chill about bringing weird shit on the bus.
Yeah. Well, I don't need the bus in Port Townsend.
Well,
And once all the finishing work is done, it can be installed all the way into place. And that means it's time to install the leg bolts. As with pretty much everything else, we'll be using half-inch leg bolts, which are countersunk so that bungs can be driven in over top. The sealant you see here on the scarf is just some Sikaflex, which is a marine sealant. Yes, it is.
okay.
Yes. I'm just waiting for you to finish doing this one.
Oh, yeah.
What sealant did you use for this one?
Sikaflex.
Sikaflex? Not 5200.
No, not 5200. Never 5200.
Inside the ship, the inner edge of the coverboard will also get its corner rounded off. This joint in here is corked and will get corked again once all of the other wood has been replaced in here as well. And then the final step, as usual, is to place the wooden plugs in on top of all of the fasteners. So here's that Sikaflex, which we're just using to go between along the scarf and between the coverboard and the sill. And the coverboard is pretty much done. And it's looking beautiful. Next up, it will be the sill piece, which slots it on top of it, as well as replacing the bottom of the upright posts inside, which had rotted out. So we'll be covering that one in the next video, probably. Here you can see the pattern process for the sill board has already begun. So thank you for coming and watching the video. You can help support the work being done here on the SS Virginia 5 by visiting our website at www.virginiav.org. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and get alerted when we post our next video. So until next time.